I'm Arjun. I'm currently the co-founder and CEO of Docket, originally from Kerala, from Tiruvalla. How many of you are non-Malus who don't understand Malayalam? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You will have to bear with me. Most of it, I have made it in English. There will be a few which is in Malayalam. Mother tongue, you got to use it to communicate. Adonde, there will be some Malayalam. Most of it will be English. So, I was told to talk a little bit about my story, right? My story has a very different starting point. I stitched my first English sentence together when I was 19. Until then, I didn't have to use English. And when I started my first company, I did not know that there were people called investors. All I knew was you do outsource projects, take that money, and then build out the product. I always wanted to build a product, but I had no idea that investors existed. And many of the things, right, private limited, C Corp, LLP, I didn't know any of these things. So the starting point was very different, but I still ended up starting. Why? നമ്മൾ ഇൻഗോസ്റ്റ് ഹൗസിനില്ലേ അപ്പുക്കുട്ടൻ പേടിച്ചില്ല കാരണം അപ്പുക്കുട്ടനെ പേടിക്കാനുള്ള ബുദ്ധിയില്ല. When you start a company, in my opinion, there are two ways to start a company or two types of companies. One is when you are young and stupid, you can start because you have no idea what you are getting into. 23 വയസ്സിൽ കമ്പനി തുടങ്ങുമ്പോൾ I had no idea what I was getting into, so I started up. Right? അതിൽ തന്നെ when you are older and wiser, it is slightly more difficult because you know what you are kind of getting into. You have responsibilities. 23 വയസ്സിൽ, thanks to my parents, I did not have any financial burden, so I just started up. പക്ഷേ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ the easy part is starting up, right? ചെയ്ത് തുടങ്ങിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ the startup kind of gets to you. The way we started 2012-ലാണ് തുടങ്ങുന്നത്, and then the first 2 years, every 6 months we pivoted. We successfully failed building 4 products. എല്ലാ 6 മാസവും, every 6 months we changed the product. One interesting thing that we did is, we named the company as Profoundus and named individual products as different products. So then one product to the next product, it was fairly easy. Adhyam tips, first product, 6 months, did not work. Moved to Emotion, different product, same company. Moved to iTestify, moved to Sense. Every 6 months, a different product. But it was fine because we were doing it with 3 of my friends from college, so it almost felt like, an extension to the men's hostel experience. So this failure mode did not exist in my head. And when you are young, you can afford to do it, which is also part of the reason why people say that the best time to start is as early as possible, right? Like yesterday, starting up is the easiest or the best. I see a lot of backbenchers here standing. There are seats, folks. പുറകിൽ നിൽക്കുന്നതാണ് ഇഷ്ടം. But yeah, feel free, please take the seats. So you kind of start off and then the startup will start to get to you, right? പക്ഷെ നമ്മുടെ വേൾഡ് ഭയങ്കര ഡിഫറെൻ്റ് ആണ് when we start from Kerala. നിങ്ങളുടെ വേൾഡ് ഇങ്ങനെയാണോന്ന് എനിക്കറിയില്ല. എൻ്റെ വേൾഡ് ഇങ്ങനെയായിരുന്നു, റൈറ്റ്? ഐ പ്ലേഡ് സോ മച്ച് ക്രിക്കറ്റ് വെൻ ഐ വാസ് ഗ്രോയിങ് അപ്പ് and I did not know, I did not read. I am still not an avid reader of books. A lot of people tell you that you have to read all the books, 1 book a day, 1 book a week. It is good. I'm not saying it is bad, but I am none of that person. So I'll tell a very interesting thing that happened. With my first company, Profoundus, this was 2013. We were one of the 3 companies from India that got selected to start up Chile. Chile, this is a program where Chilean government would put roughly about $40,000 into your company, and one founder has to be in Chile, right? So until then, we were doing services, taking that money and doing the product, right? Product pottikondirikya, but we are still building different products. Chile letiyappo, they gave us $40,000, so I could use that money to stop my services aspect and focus only on the product. But to do that, I have to save all that money. അപ്പം ഞാനൊരു മുറി കയറി, ഐ ഗോട്ട് ഇൻ എ റൂം. ഞാൻ ആ മുറിയിൽ നിന്ന് ഇറങ്ങത്തേ ഇല്ല. ഇഫ് ഐ ഗെറ്റ് ഔട്ട് ഓഫ് ദാറ്റ് റൂം, ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് കോസ്റ്റ്ലി ഇൻ സാന്റിയാഗോ, ചിലെ. മെട്രോ ഈസ് $1.5, സബ്വേ ഈസ് $7. എവറി ഡേ റൈസ് പിക്കിൾ കേർഡ്. Every single day for 7 months. I saved roughly $32,000 and sent it to Kerala. പക്ഷേ an interesting story happened during that time. I cannot tell the name of the person, but most of you might have heard about this person in Silicon Valley's background. He's one of the prolific investors. He's one of the most known gurus of the startup world in the Silicon Valley for 20 years, 25 years. He was a mentor at Startup Chile, so I got excited, right? You are like waiting to see this person for almost a month, requested for it, went through some things, and then got in, and then I am going and presenting my product Vibe to him. It's a product that helps you find more information about people and companies. So I'm laptop, and then I'm showing the product. He looked at me, he opened and he took an iPhone, and he showed it to me and said, "Have you seen this app?" And he showed an app called Humane. Humane. I mean, amazing UI, right? This was 2013 end. It loaded videos. The UI was so sexy. It seamlessly moved from one to the other. It was amazing, right? And he looked at me, "Look at this UI. Look at your UI. Look at this. It is so good. Why are you even building this? You are light years behind Silicon Valley." He literally told this to me. "You are light years behind Silicon Valley," right? So what happens? You're like, what the heck? But then there is nothing more for me to talk to him, right? He's like, basically, you are useless. Don't do this shit. Go do something else, right? So you close the laptop. You are walking out. At that point, for an entrepreneur, something sparks inside you, right? You are like, it's almost like an elastic band. The more you are kind of pulling, you are kind of gaining all that potential energy. You are like, I will show this guy, you know? That happened when I was walking into the room. I still get a little bit of that right now when I'm speaking. After a year, or 1.5 years later, Thai Silicon Valley is happening in the Bay Area. I was there, and I obviously kept track of Humane as a company. The backstory is, Humane, the founder, was the son of a billionaire. So at that time, at the idea stage, they raised $3.4 million. Idea stage, back then. Today it is okay. Back then it was a lot of money, 3.4 million. It's a Series A at that time. He got it at the idea stage. And I got $40,000 in total. And you're kind of comparing your app with the 3.4 million. Maybe he took 500,000 just to build that app. 1.5 years later, I'm walking on the floor of Silicon Valley, and then this person is walking opposite to me. I've kept track of Humane, and that app wasn't doing that well. My app had about 110,000 users from 150 countries with $0 in marketing, all built and sold from Kerala. When he got close to me, right, "Hello, sir, how's it going?" He's like, "How is Humane doing?" He's like, you know, it is not doing as well as we thought it would. Again, I'm not happy that another startup is not doing well. I said, "Oh, okay." I didn't press on him. I didn't say anything. I just walked. So fundamentally, our worlds might be different, but your startup kind of trains you with all sorts of things. The first time an investor asked me, "Hey, give me a 5-year projection." How do you do a 5-year projection? I have no idea. I went to Google, downloaded a bunch of templates. I downloaded 8 different templates. Tried putting in my numbers into those templates, did not work. Because it has too many formulas, too many macros. I don't even know Excel properly. Every time something is breaking, it has like 7 sheets, right? Those templates did not work. One night I just sat and started putting it manually. I kept putting in. I made about 7 different versions of my thing. It ended up being an Excel sheet with about 1,200 fields. It took me many, many days, many iterations, but one night I got it. So that was the first financial projection that I did. I spent so much time in that anybody's business plan, if you bring it to me, in about 45 minutes, I can give you the 5-year projection now. Because it took so much time, but I've done it. I know it. Right? So my first pitch deck, I took about 24, first investor pitch deck, I read it about 24 times before I sent it to a proper investor, right? Because you wouldn't get it in the first time. But along the while, your startup really trains you. It teaches about lean startup, customer validation, sales, marketing. It is also a very humbling experience. Every time you think you got it, some shit will happen, right? And you are back on the ground. And then you have to get back up. And then, at some point, you become the dragon warrior, right? In my case, what happened is I was doing well as Profounders, and we got a fully committed term sheet for our pre-series A. But at that time, a company called Full Contact, based in Colorado, wanted to buy out the company. We were about 72 people in Kerala. I sold the company, and they moved me to the US to complete the integration. After moving there, I scaled the team to about 160 people. In that process, I didn't realize, but we became the first product acquisition in the history of Kerala. And then I'd say I started a second company. That company, we scaled to 35 people, and we raised about $2.7 million in total. We used about $1 million of that. We were getting close to that $1 million in revenue. At that time, a public company called ZoomInfo wanted to buy out the company, sold the company. Was amazing outcome. My first company, I raised $350,000 in total. My investor money, one of my investors, Robin, is here. They put in money, and then they got about 2.4 times in about 13 months for the first company. My second company was better. My first investor put in $175,000 and walked away with $1.9 million after 26 months. And I sold the company. I became the SVP of product at ZoomInfo. And ZoomInfo is this massive company, $1.2 billion in revenue, almost 4,000 people. And when I got this SVP title, because that CEO had a lot of trust in me, everybody was looking at me like, who is this guy, man? Like some small company, 35 people company. And he's the SVP now. Then the company, there were 27 people in my team, and that company grew to about 450 people today in India, based in Chennai and Bangalore. From the SVP, I became the Chief Data Officer of ZoomInfo, right? It's a C-level title at a public company with about $1.2 billion in revenue. I had about 500 people reporting to me, managing the core asset of the data. It is absolutely possible. You think that these guys are like, out of the world people, you need a master's. I still only have an undergraduate. I am not from an Ivy League college. I am not from IIT. I am not from Stanford. You do not need any of these. You think that these people are way smarter than you. They are not. Obviously, they work hard. They are smart. They learn fast. But you also do all of that. Or you can also do all of that. Right? So eventually, as you go through this process, there is a time when you become the dragon warrior. And then at some point in time, it kind of dawns on you like, what happens? You might remember the scene, right? Faizi, കഴിക്കുന്നതിന് മനസ്സ് നിറയ്ക്കുന്നതാണ് സംഭവം, right? It is not about you, it is not about the team, it is something beyond you എന്നുള്ളത് മനസ്സിലാവും. And the recent past, or the last 4 or 5 years, this is kind of the thing that is echoing in me. We have, as Kerala, we have a problem. About 30% of our engineering, I'm an engineering graduate, so I took this as the stats. But you take any of the stats, about 30% of our engineering graduates from Kerala migrate abroad. This could be, inside India, we have about 2.4 million Keralites living just in Bangalore. We have another 2.5 million people living in the rest of India, whether it is Delhi and Gujarat and all these places, right? So arguably some of our best talent is leaving. What is even more frightening is the rate at which the school students are leaving Kerala. After 9th and 10th standard, the people leaving Kerala, the kids leaving Kerala has doubled in the last 5 years. Just in Pathanamthitta district, which is where I am from, there are 67,500 homes that are vacant today, unopened, vacant. Continue down this path, we are a ghost town in some time. When I talk to my friends over there, I talk about Kerala. We have 22 beaches, 44 rivers, ton of backwaters, so green. And they ask me, why are you here? Why don't you just go back? At some point, hopefully. But my point is, unless we fix this problem, we are going to lose our beautiful state to other cities. And it's not like they have an amazing life there. They are going through all kinds of air pollution and traffic pollution and noise pollution. Their kids are sitting 2 hours. In Bangalore, every kid is sitting 2.5 hours in the morning and at night just to go from their house to school and come back. 5 hours in the bus. What do you do for 5 hours in the bus? So the world that we have created is not catering to our people. We have to change. And this is where, what is the real problem that is creating it? There is a chicken and egg problem here, right? Talent undangile opportunities ullu. Opportunities undangile talent ullu. When we go and talk to companies, and by the way, there are people working on this. Government is working on it. Different entities within state government is working on it. But Only if you have talent, you have opportunities we cannot go to Google. Google will ask, how do I scale to 150 people? My own company is operating in Bangalore today. I have about 30 people there. 75% or more of my team are Malayalis, but they are in Bangalore. So we have our office in Bangalore. My worry is, when I want to scale from 30 to 60 people, can I grow that fast in Kerala in about 3 months with the kind of talent that I'm looking for? There are Malayalis with that talent, but are they in Kerala? That is the problem. So, this chicken and egg problem we crack cheyanam. Adu crack cheyda maatrame we are going to get a thriving ecosystem here. So, many of you have seen Sridhar yesterday, right? We have to look at how in the world other ecosystem have kind of went from the tier 2 status to tier 1 status. Sridhar's company, Zoho, from Zoho, all these different companies got created. And this is not even an exhaustive list, by the way, right? You guys might know Freshworks Ariyarikum, Hippovidia Ariyarikum, ChargeBee Ariyarikum. There are a bunch of these more known companies, but there are many, many, many more companies that has kind of jumped out of Zoho. What is happening when a big company is getting created, right? There is this interesting thing. Anybody who left Zoho and started a new company, or anybody who left Freshworks and started a new company, you can go to their website, go to the footer of that website, and you would immediately know they left Zoho or Freshworks. Why? Because they have a really clean way of doing the footer. They put a shit ton of links into that footer, like industries, a bunch of links, solutions, a bunch of things, use cases, a bunch of things, platform, a bunch of things, architecture, a bunch of things, case studies, a bunch of things. Because Zoho cracked product marketing. How to bring people cheaply onto your website and convert them, Zoho cracked it. How do you bring them, give them a flavor of the product by giving a free trial and then convert them using people sitting out of India? Zoho cracked it. And Girish Matrabhudam came out of there and he did it even better at Freshworks. And a bunch of people came out of Freshworks and started doing this more and more and more. Right? This is happening right next. Bangalore became the Silicon Valley of India. And then, because of Sridhar and Girish, Chennai became the SaaS capital of India. Right? And this is not just Chennai. Think about Seattle. Bay Area was obviously the Silicon Valley because of a lot of reasons. And then Seattle became Seattle, a tier 1 ecosystem because of Microsoft and Amazon. 2 companies. Chennai, 2 companies, right? What starts always with one big company. Microsoft started, then Amazon started. Amazon started because they wanted to tap into the Microsoft talent. That is why it started in Seattle. Estonia, European company, right? Country, right? Skype. How many of you remember Skype? Skype got acquired by Microsoft, right? Back in the day. That one Skype changed that ecosystem. This is happening in almost everywhere. I think Romania is Sweden is Spotify and Klarna. So we have to understand how to kind of do this properly based on what has been happening in the rest of the ecosystem. So this is my problem with the way in which we do some of these things, right? നമ്മൾ മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയും കടലിൽ കൊണ്ട് കായം കലക്കാന്ന്. ഈ കായം is very strong, but if you put it into the ocean, there is no use. So what we have to do collectively as one community is to build one big company. One big company. നമ്മൾ 5% healthcare, 10% for pharma, 20% for robotics, 10% for software. ഇങ്ങനെ split ചെയ്ത് spray and pray ആണ് നമ്മുടെ strategy. That shouldn't be the strategy. We should all be coming together and say, these are the 2 industries that we are really good at. We are going to really double down on these 2 industries to a point where any company that is starting in anywhere in India, they want to come to Kerala if you are in that industry. Imagine we are doing very well in robotics. We are deciding that we are going to build the whole ecosystem for robotics in Kerala, including the initial capital, the mentors, the things that they need to do their testing, the access to customers. You have to completely build it. So from where we are, we have to change from the tier 2 ecosystem that we are to the bootstrapping capital of India in those 2 or 3 industries that we choose. And it cannot be in 10 industries. What do you tell startups? Focus. Do an MVP. Do the iteration from there. Don't build the whole thing. ഇതാണ് നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്സിന് കൊടുക്കുന്ന തിയറി. Kerala startup ecosystem is a startup. You cannot do 10 things at a time or 20 things at a time. You have to pick 1 thing, 2 things, really double down there. So this is my call to action, folks. This is what I am trying to do. before I leave this world, all I want to see is I want one company from Kerala to have 10,000 people that company is training. If you build that, the rest of it will take care on its own. So there are so many things you can focus on. There is no silver bullet to solve this problem entirely, but if we can focus on one thing, and I believe all you guys, the entrepreneurs in this crowd, if this idiot can, you all can. So let's come together and get it done. Thank you.
Hi Arjun.
Hello, good morning.
My name is Arun. In what sense you called you as an idiot?
Based on my starting point. See, I went to my college, Chenganur Engineering College. When I entered the college, there was one pentagon. The college is supposed to have 3 pentagons, right? And the other 2 pentagons were skeletons with plants growing out of it, right? It is in a very bad spot. So I looked at the college and I was like, okay, this is the college. Okay, that makes sense. And then later on, my friends told me that I saw the college and my heart sank because they knew what a college would look like. I did not even know that. So I was like, oh, this is the college, right? So the starting point is what it means. You know, when I call myself an idiot, I don't think I am that guy who had a lot of things around me. A lot of people helped me along the way, but my starting point was, you know, possibly worse than most of you people today, especially because you have access today, content today, this event exists today, you have Netflix today, internet today, you have a lot of things coming to you, but back in the day, it wasn't there. There are a lot of people who did it even before me, by the way. You know, I'm not placing myself as the epitome of the guy who started it off, but that's why I call myself an idiot.
So do you think luck comes as a factor for this one big company?
Absolutely, luck always comes in. But see, the thing is, you have to increase the surface area for luck. When you do a startup, you know that there is less than 5% probability of you winning. We are the crazy bunch, by the way, right? ഒരു പരീക്ഷ എഴുതാൻ പോകുമ്പോൾ, when you want to write an exam, if they tell you, you have 5% chance to win this exam, you are like, I am not going to write that exam. Most of us, which is why we don't write IAS exams, right? There's no chance to win it, pretty much, except the very smart people who, the speaker before me. But for most people, we cannot crack it. So there is certainly luck involved, but you have to increase the odds for success. You call it the serendipity surface area. Things have to happen. Right? And for things have to happen, you have to keep taking the chances. Like in football or soccer, you have to hit to the goal post, right? Which is why they track that as a metric. Goals to the post or hits to the post. What is the exact terminology? But the more you take that, the chances of goal is higher. So luck, while it is a factor, we have to enable the rest of the things to increase the odds of that success to happen. That is what the enablers have to do, everybody else.
My name is Ritesh. I am from Makalef Private Limited. Actually, my question may be different. Last 3 years long, we are working for the surgical robot system. Actually, we are collaborating with the foreign company, and what we are doing the research for the foreign company, and the market also not in India. But we are here actually not for what others are intended. Why we are here? We are thinking how can connect with others. What you have told just now, the connection, and we are doing, many people we are doing very different type of thing. Because what we are is developing, that is the new robot. Because in this world,
Let's speed up. They will push me out.
Yeah.
What is the question?
The question is how to connect
with people?
Yeah, means the same area of the research and other things, because we have a plenty of expertise. How can share to even the Indian companies, but still we are blind about this.
Yeah, see, fundamentally what you are asking for is a segmentation problem. You need to find the founders who are doing things similar to you, right? It's a data problem, it's a segmentation problem. So you have to use the right tools to find the set of companies. What you need is 100 companies that are doing something similar to you, right? You can use ChatGPT as the first level of searching. You can go to LinkedIn and put a bunch of filters into it to get the set of companies. Or you can use a tool like Apollo.io to get the list of companies. Once you get the list of companies, find all the founders in that company, send LinkedIn requests and say, we are in the similar space, I would love to connect and chat for 30 minutes. You find like 500 people, you're going to get about 75 meetings. That's what you do. And you don't have to limit that to India in this case, right? As long as you are doing it online, you can do it with anybody. So it's a segmentation problem, data problem, right? Find the right tool, find the right people, reach out on LinkedIn, you should be able to get meetings.